Let's take a closer look at the 24-hour race at the Nürburgring and what we learned from it. Special this year were the high temperatures, also because the race was later in the year. That gave teams and drivers new challenges in terms of setup and cooling. But not just there. The pit building's air conditioning system was overstressed and caused a blackout, which cut the power for the pit building, fuel stations and race control. So the race was red flagged for 2.5 hours until the power was back. And as we said in my preview, over the years the race has become an event for factory race cars such as GT3s, GT4s and Cup cars. The small garage teams with self-built race cars disappeared almost entirely. Only a few are still coming. And because of that, the increased GT3 field has priority, while in the past it was the other way around. With so many amateurs on the difficult Nordschleife, professional drivers were complaining about poor driving standards. So around 10 years ago, the Nürburgring introduced the Nordschleife permit, a Nordschleife driving license, so to speak. GT3 drivers today say, the small and slow cars are blocking our way, we want them gone, and this is how they treat them on track. And so we have countless incidents this year between faster and slower cars, a number of permits being revoked, and even 4 cars crashed out of the race by faster cars. One of them was the Dacia, again, which left the team deeply disappointed after building up a new Dacia Logan with now 280 horsepower and pedal shift gearbox after they have been crashed out by a GT3 car 2 years ago. We couldn't see the Dacia crash exactly, but for the 3 other incidents it was the same situation. The slower cars stayed on the racing line while the faster car was already inside. For the dramatic crash with Grello while being chased for first position, we have to say that the Aston Martin had 4 blue flags and didn't move for the 2 GT3 cars behind him. When the door was open, Aston tried it and they crashed. On the other hand, it's an unusual spot to overtake and the Aston Martin driver might have wanted to let them by afterwards. The result was that Grello got a 100-second penalty, and although being the fastest car and winning the race, they dropped to 2nd place because of that penalty. So it's an unsatisfying result. Grello, the car that should have won, didn't win. The Rover BMW, which won the race, got this win because of the penalty. And slower cars have to ask themselves if they are still welcome here. Anyway, the 24-hour race at the Nürburgring is and always was a race with many different cars and drivers on different levels. The atmosphere in the last years has become worse at smaller teams because they constantly have to watch their rear view mirrors and have to fear to be taken out by a GT3 car, which is less of a problem for the driver in a big professional team, but it's a disaster and probably the death of the project for a smaller team. While watching a good GT3 fight can be interesting for the fans, the small self-built cars disappear, while lots of teams would be interested, which leads to the question if they should have their own 24-hour race. And why not? A 24-hour race at the Nürburgring Nordschleife only for self-built cars, so no GT3s, GT4s, Cup cars and so on. You can race with your Audi R8 for example, but only if you modified it yourself. Of course, lap times would increase, speed differences could be less, which might be safer, and we would get back a 24-hour race with the spirit of the 1990s, where you could win the race overall in a BMW 320d. So how did you like this year's 24-hour race at the Nürburgring? Let me know in the comments below and see you at the next video.